Hi guys, we're starting a new section. This is all about the tangent. Tangent. Oh my gosh. It's one of those um, trigonometric ratios. And it comes from this. And we never know where it all comes from. You know, we teachers always just say this is what it is and you have to learn it this way and you don't need to know where it comes from. Well, here's a where it comes from bit. It comes from studying circles. um, those crazy old Greeks and those old mathematicians, all they did was look at circles and how radii compare to the circumference of the circle, and then they threw shapes on the ground and they said, oh, if this is a right triangle, then I can do this, this, and this, and I can find all these things. And that's where Pythagoras got his wonderful start, or how we knew he was such a great person, because he created this thing. So um, let's move on to what we call tangent. A tangent is a line, just a line or a segment or something that touches a circle at one single point. Okay, so it's a straight line, and since it's a circle, you know, if you have a straight line, unless it cuts through the circle at a couple of points, and then that's something entirely different, and then we have a chord inside the circle. So this tangent line is outside of the circle but touches it at one single point. All right? And that one single point is called the point of tangency. So I've drawn two tangents here. There's one here and there's one here. And that point in which they touch the circle is the point of tangency. And then there's one more piece of information I want you to know before I stop this video and move on to the next, is that if you draw a radius from the center of the circle to the point of tangency, on any tangent, at any tangent line, that point of tangency to the radius is automatically perpendicular to the tangent line. And that's really important because it helps us with triangulation. It helps us with finding distances. If I want to know what the distance is way out here on this tangent line, I can create a right triangle now, and I can find the distance. If I know this, say this is 10, right? And then I know the radius. Now I can use the Pythagorean theorem to find that distance all the way from the center of the circle. And that was really, really important when they were studying gravity, when Newton was trying to figure out what the heck is going on with these bodies in motion in space. You know, why do things stay where they are in space? In theory, they should all just be flying out there at their own rates, and there's got to be some way to find out why the distance here is staying relatively constant. I know when you guys are looking at models of the universe, that elliptical orbit is really elliptical, but the truth of the matter is our orbit is somewhat circular, a little bit elliptical, a little bit squashed, but it doesn't really waver that much from a circular orbit. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's very elliptical because it's not a perfect circle. But I digress. But that's how they started working with this stuff. They needed to know the center of mass of two objects, and they needed to know how far apart they were and why they stayed where they stayed. And so this is why we have tangent lines, and this is why we discuss tangent lines. Not because I need to bore you with some lines that are created on a circle, but later on when you're studying gravitation, you can say, "Oh, hey, Mr. Sokol, I remember we were talking in lockdown about tangent lines, and you talked about how gravitation is important, right?" We also use it for GPS. If you look at 2 points on the Earth, right, and you've got a satellite up here, and you've got or you're looking at one spot on the Earth and you have multiple satellites out there, they can triangulate your position. That was the early form of GPS. You had two or three satellites calculating distances from where they were, and it would give you an approximation of where you were. Now we have multiple satellites able to use that idea and find your position and guide you where you need to go. So I know it sounds dumb that we have to learn about tangents, but they really help you every single day.